through how to use this box kipping chest to bar drill effectively, so you know exactly what you're looking out for when you use this in your own training, so you can either improve or get your first chest to bar. So let's first of all take a look just at what the drill actually looks like itself. So using a box and a little jump off the box in order to help you get your kipping chest to bar. So the reason why this is so great is because it enables you to train the shapes without ruining your hands, because you're not taking your full body weight every time you hang off the bar, and it also stops you from suffering from too much fatigue or using up all your strength in order to try and get your chest to bar. Because the thing is, if you can move as efficiently as possible and make the best shapes that you possibly can whilst you're on the bar, better shapes is going to mean more efficiency, which will mean more reps or you getting your first rep as well. So things to bear in mind before you set up are: do you have the requirements and are you ready to start working on your chest to bar? Do you have sets of strict pull-ups? If not, then you need to work towards getting strict pull-ups. If you can't do a strict pull-up, you won't be able to link kipping reps of pull-ups, and therefore you won't be able to progress onto chest to bar. Do you have a really strong and solid kip swing? Without this, you're going to struggle with all of the movements on the bar, especially when it comes to progressing and scaling up when we look towards chest to bar or bar muscle ups. To begin with, having an efficient and a strong kip is really going to help you out. Can you link reps of kipping pull-ups? If you're still working in singles for your kipping pull-ups, work towards sets of kipping pull-ups first before you start thinking about trying to get your first chest to bar. And also a strict chest to bar. We need to have the strict movements in order to be able to link kipping reps. If you don't have that ability to pull yourself up strict and tap your chest on the bar, then you are going to really struggle to be able to get your first kipping and linked kipping sets of chest to bar. If you don't know how to work towards any of these, please reach out, give me a message, because I could give you loads of ideas on where to start when it comes to getting these, so then you can move on to your chest to bar. Just want to go through setting up for this drill. You need a box directly underneath the bar. The higher the box is, the easier it's going to be. And now we'll go through the movement breakdown. You're going to stand with one leg on the box, and if you haven't used the box before for any kind of drill kipping movement, I suggest just practicing your kip swing first, just moving between your hollow and your Superman, so you get a feel of what it's like to do this with the assistance from the box. So we always start in the hollow shape. Whenever we are looking at bar movements, you're going to jump up, or you're going to initiate the hollow first. So pressing down on the bar, ribs in, tailbone in, and that front foot slightly in front. We'll then pull back on the bar, arms behind your ears, squeeze your bum and drive your leg back behind you. Then when it comes to chest to bar, especially to begin with, if you're just starting out with learning this skill, you want to think about driving your leg up nice and high. So the higher you can drive your leg up in the hollow, and almost when we look at it, if we think about the pike position in gymnastics, into that pike shape, the more height you're going to get up on the bar. And because we want our chest to touch the bar in chest to bar, we need more height. So hold on to your hollow shape, but drive your leg up so you have this angle at the hip here. Then as you start to gain height on the bar, you can see in this next frame, that's where you want to start to think about using your hips. So as you start to feel light from driving your leg up and hitting that L shape or pike shape, you want to start squeezing your glutes so you can start to pop your hips up towards the bar and start to pull in at the same time. When I think about reaching this top position here, it's very different to a pull-up. Normally we think about just pulling down on the bar. You almost want to think of it as a pull and then a row. So I'm actually able to physically touch the bar with my chest. So you want to think pull and then row. If I'm doing a kipping pull-up, I'm just going to pull myself and push myself away. However, chest to bar, I want to pull and row. At the same time, we need to find extension at the hip and continue what we call the hip pop to extend at the hips, but still this is the tricky part, without losing your hollow shape. So a hip pike Squeeze my bum to initiate the hip pop. Continue to do so as I pull and row towards the bar, but without losing my hollow shape. By this I mean I still want my toes pointed out in front of me when I reach the top of my chest to bar. If I was to let this leg drop here, then I would just drop down and I would not be able to push away from the bar. When we think about coming back down out of the movement, we do exactly the same in reverse. So I hold on to my hollow, I push myself away from the bar as in a kipping pull-up, drive my leg back into my Superman shape, and then I can return to my hollow and therefore work towards linking reps. So last of all, I just want to rerun through those most important cues to think about. So focus on the strong shapes. Hollow and Superman. The better your hollow shape is and your Superman shape is, both on the floor and on the bar, the better your kipping movements are going to be. Drive your leg up to gain height in the hollow position. So the higher you drive your leg up, the more height you're going to gain on the bar, and the easier it's going to make it for your chest to bar. So create that angle at the hip, the pike position. After you've created the pike position, use your hips or squeeze your bum to enable your chest to touch the bar. Think pull and row. Then once you've finished the rep and your chest has touched the bar, you need to keep hold of your hollow shape. Use your core, ribs tucked in, tailbone tucked in, to make sure that you don't lose your hollow and you don't let your legs drop down. So keep your hollow, push away so you can move into that next rep. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions about progressing your chest to bar or any of the other movements that I mentioned earlier, then please do not hesitate to send me a message.